guys, welcome to Creative Frame of Mind. I thought it was going to be a good day to bake, so I'm going to do a few things. We're going to make some bread and we're going to make a dessert for the friend. It is a beautiful sunny day that also happens to be very cold. We definitely are getting the colder weather now, and it was pretty quick. It came on pretty quickly. And so we're kind of getting into, cozy stuff around the house. The kids are kind of excited about the change in the weather, so they're getting out the gloves and the hats and the jackets and the scarves and all the things. So we're going to do a dessert for a friend of mine who is expecting. I haven't seen her in a little bit. She hasn't been feeling great. So I was going to go take her a dessert and check on her. That I was going to use some of our apples from our orchard. So we picked a lot of apples. We have a full-blown orchard, and we, when we purchased this house, we really didn't realize it. They just kind of said, oh, we have some fruit trees. And no, we really have an orchard. I mean, it's small, but it's pretty significant. Like, it produces a pretty good amount of fruit. So I'm actually going to be pruning those trees and stuff in another video coming up, so that they produce, they produce in a more effective way, and it's not so much fruit and everything's dying and we can't possibly, use all that fruit. So I've been doing a little bit of research on that, so that will be coming up. But we froze some apples, quite a lot of apples, and so I was gonna make an apple cobbler and take it over to her family. I have made this recipe lots of times, and also I'm gonna make some homemade bakery French bread. I made this for the first time a couple of weeks ago and I really liked it, and it was pretty simple. The only thing that's kind of complicated is, of course, you have to let it rise. You're not kneading it a lot or anything like that, but you have to let the bread rise, and you are rolling it out with a rolling pin. Previously in my life, I never used a rolling pin. I have now recently been using it a lot. So I guess that's just one of the changes when you move to a rural area. Like, sometimes things aren't as available. I mean, we have a grocery store near us. We have several, like, we can get to them, but it's just the price of everything right now, as you guys know, I'm sure, is a little crazy. And so we're just kind of trying to, save some money where we can. And honestly, the bread that we make is a lot better than the bread that we could buy. So it just becomes like a smarter choice anyway. Okay, so now we are going to get to making our homemade bakery French bread. This will be the third time that I've made it, and I think you guys will really like the recipe. So what we're going to do to start is we're going to dissolve our yeast with a half a cup of warm water. So my yeast is right here, and I need 2 tablespoons. All right, so we're going to get this little bowl. Here. Okay, so that's 2 tablespoons of yeast. This is our warm water. Put that in there, and then we're gonna whisk it and let it sit. I have a cute little whisk. Look how cute. Just get it all in there. It smells like bread. We're gonna let that proof for 10 minutes. Oh, over here. So our hot water already heated this up. So that's 2 cups of hot water, 3 tablespoons of sugar. And we're gonna add 2 more. 2, 3. Okay, 2.5 teaspoons of salt. I have like a weird pet peeve with how recipes are printed. If it's too close together, like, and the font's small and it's too close together, then it's just, I lose my place on the recipe a lot. So I'm like particular about it. I've actually printed out recipes again. Like, I've actually cut and pasted before, and then like changed how it was printed and stuff. Anyway, 1/3 cup of oil. So I don't really use oil that often, so I'm just using regular butter. This is salted butter. I don't know, you could leave the salt out. I've already added the salt, but I'm not really that concerned about it. Okay. And then we're gonna add 3 cups of flour. So I'm gonna add the butter in there. So let's add 3 cups of flour. Now, I am actually using, if you guys can see, bread flour. I bought this a while ago. And I've actually bought it because we were making more bread. I haven't actually tried it, so I'm very curious to see if it's any better. It's probably gonna taste the same. That's what my guess is, but you know, I don't know if anybody's noticed that they have all these particular products for this and that, and mostly it's gonna taste the same, but you know. I'm just gonna use a big spoon. And I know I could probably do a million other things. 2. That's 3. Alright, so we're gonna stir that together. Yeast has a few more minutes, and then we'll add the yeast. And then after that, we add 3.5 more cups of flour. And then we're gonna let it sit for a bit. I actually got this set of mixing bowls at a thrift store, oh gosh, many years ago, and they have just lasted great, and I think we have maybe 5 or 6, and yeah, they've actually been one of our better purchases. So. Alright, so I think our yeast is good to go. It's had some time to do its thing. Had some time to proof. So, alright, we're gonna add the yeast. Right, and now we're going to add the remaining 3.5 cups of flour. It's just taking it out of the bag, but whatever. All right, so let's do that. We're going to add one at a time. So that. But so now what we're going to do is I'm going to knead my dough just a little bit because it seems like it needs it. So just a little bit. So I'm just going to take it out. So I would say when rolling out, and I am so not an expert, but feel free, I have done this a few times, but I'm not an expert on it. I would say that you want to be really friendly with the flour. So I'm 1000% going to get flour all over myself probably with this. So you're going to want to put flour on, so this is just a cutting board. And I'm going to put flour on the rolling pin, I'm going to put flour on my hands. Flour is your friend. Flour is your friend with this kind of thing. So it's definitely sticky. So yeah, flour is your friend. And yes, it's gonna get everywhere. All right, so I wash my hands. I'm just gonna take my dough. Look at that beautiful dough there. All right, and I'm kind of just gonna take everything out. Because obviously I want all of it to be incorporated. Okay. So I'm just gonna knead it a little. I'm gonna move this lovely rolling pin. Okay. Move that. So just a little bit. I'm not gonna do a ton. We're actually gonna make 3 loaves out of this. So you definitely want to get like all of it in. I don't know, this seems like a very forgiving bread recipe. I don't know. I mean, I've made it This is my third time making it, and the first time it got a little too brown, but it was still really good. Like, that's a good indicator of a good bread recipe, when it gets a little too brown, but it's still good. Like, the outside was a little too crispy, but if you didn't worry about that, then it was still really good. So, anyway, all right. So I'm just doing a little bit. I'm not doing a lot. I do not want you guys to do this for hours or anything like that. Just kind of like, you know, move it around a little bit. Like I said, I'm just trying to incorporate some of this stuff in. It's not going to be perfect, but okay. See, I'm already needing to add more flour, because flour is your friend. I have learned this the hard way. I promise. I forget, and then it's like, oh wait, I need flour. Okay. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna separate this into 3 pieces. So I'm just gonna eyeball it, basically. Boop. Come on, dough, quit being the butt. All right. Let's put this guy in half too. All right, that's very sticky. So, okay. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna individually use the rolling pin to flatten these out, and then I'm gonna roll them up. And then we're gonna do like the little traditional slits on the top for French bread. So now what I'm gonna do, this is kind of fun. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll it up, kind of like a jelly roll or something like that, that kind of dessert. Roll it up like that. It's just sort of gonna look like that. Now obviously the French loaf kind of looks like that shape or whatever. Got a sharper knife. Move that guy. So like so. This is obviously not completely essential, but you know. So what I'm gonna do is just get a cookie sheet and do some parchment paper and just let it rise, because it's gonna have to rise for a while. Nice to me. So, all right, so we got this guy. Put it like that. We're gonna do 2 more. Boom, look at that. Okay, so this is our French bread out of the oven. As you can see, it looks yummy. I guess I have to take the 3 apart, but let's see. Yeah, it's very dense too. So So I'll have to flip it over in just a minute, but that's what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. It looks like these rose a little bit more than the previous batches I did. I think because I put it in the oven was a little bit, it wasn't on, but it was a little bit warm still, so from making lunch, so maybe that helped it rise more. Looks good. So we've already added 1 cup of sugar to our pot. Now we're gonna add the second one. Then we're gonna add 1/2 cup water and then all of the fruit. Bring this to a boil. Oop. All that fruit. That's 8 cups of apples. Because we're doubling the recipe. So put that all in there. And we are gonna let that boil. I'm just mixing the sugar and the water. I'm coating the fruit and the sugar. Fruit is going. So now we're going to reduce the heat. And we're just going to let it simmer for 10 minutes. So I'm going to do a timer. Start. And, or no, 1 cup of sugar, 3 cups of flour, and now I'm adding 2 cups of milk. Because again, we're doubling the recipe. I'm adding the milk slowly, so I have to add 1 more cup of milk. My baby goes through milk really fast. I'm just gonna add in a little at a time. My apples are simmering. So this is kind of interesting because you, with this recipe, you put this is going to be the crust basically, and you put that down first and then you put the fruit on top and the crust rises. Alright, so this is my butter that's melted. I took it out before it got to this thing. So I took it out before it got to, I didn't want to burn the butter because butter can burn. Alright, so yes, alright. So I got this, so I'm just going to split these between the 2 containers. And it literally didn't say how many quarts this was, so I have no idea. It said like a 4-quart. I'm like, it doesn't say on the packaging, so I don't know. I guess as long as it covers the bottom for the most part. And yes, that's butter. That is a lot of butter. If you are dieting or just, yeah. It's a lot of butter, y'all. And you know Pauline at all, like she loves her butter. So she's not messing around with butter. It is good. It is real simple. Alright. Do that. Okay, that actually looks like that split pretty well. Okay, and then now I'm just going to take this pan. We're not going to have to drain it or anything. And we're just going to put it over the stuff and then we'll cook it in the oven. I'm just going to, you guys can see, spot that. I'm not going to stir it, but I am going to kind of distribute it a little bit. Okay, that. Okay. All the fruit. Okay, so again, not stirring, but I am kind of distributing, just kind of skimming to spread the fruit out. Okay, so these pans, I did say on the directions. I did wash these pans out, by the way. That you want to definitely support the bottom of the pan when you're putting it in. And I have two. Here it is, the other one. These are our very, very, very well loved oven mitts. We probably need some new ones. So what I'm gonna do is slide it. Actually, I'm gonna open the oven first. Okay, and then I'm gonna slide it off the thing. And I'm just gonna cup it with my one mitt and kind of support it. Okay. And do the same thing with this one. Hey guys, Editing Sarah here. I hope you guys really enjoyed these recipes. I hope you tried them out. I'll definitely link them in the video. Thanksgiving will be here any day now. So I hope you can try out this bread recipe or try out the dessert recipe. I think both would be really good, you know, to add to your Thanksgiving dinner. And I am getting a cold, definitely. So the change in the season stuff is happening. So I hope you guys are not getting a cold, but I definitely am. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye. My dog is drinking water. Okay. Okay, you hydrated? Okay.